Yeah, good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's class. I hope we are keeping safe. So today we're going to continue with where we stopped last week. And before then, I want to give you the assignment of today. So just listen and take the assignment of today. Okay, so today's assignment is using the organogram of food and beverage. We've already discussed the organogram last week. So using that organogram, you definitely have visited one of these food and beverage places. So you are now going to use that to pick one that food and beverage place you visit. Probably you want a restaurant, so you want to do having the meal, or you have met the use one of those person you met, real life scenario. You are going to use that person to really evaluate. Okay, evaluate if the person exhausted their duty, if the person exhausted their duty in that food and beverage that's visited. Okay, so I want you to copy. Some student just send me one student even send me um, a link, and even with the name of the author of the link and all those things. No, I need your assignment to be personal. I need it to be something you wrote yourself. Okay, sorry, I need a better background. The light is interfering. I need it to be something you wrote yourself. Okay, so you need to look for a way off. When you do your assignment, let it be something you wrote yourself. Let it not be um, I need a better place so that you people the light is coming in from the window. Okay, so please explain. What the assignment simply means is this: you've been to a restaurant before, you have been to a hotel before, so you are going to use this organogram, the organogram we looked at in the upper page. So you are going to use this organogram. Let's give an example. When you went for a banquet, the banquet manager, you have an interaction with the banquet manager. So you're going to evaluate about that banquet manager that interacted with you, or a restaurant hostess that attended to you. You're going to evaluate that person based on the job description that the person is supposed to be responsible for. Then you're going to evaluate whether the person actually did what he or her supposed to do. So today we are going to look at the duties and responsibilities of employees in the food and beverage services. Okay, so we know that the food and beverage department, they have a large number of staff. Okay, they have some places you have up to 1,000, some places they have up to 2,000 staff. There you have people that are leading, you have people that are supervising, ensuring that everybody is guided to do what he or her is supposed to do. Okay, now definitely the environment is a practical place where you see people serving to provide food and services for guests. And as we have said time and time again, that when you are not attended to well in a place, you don't want to repeat going there for business. You don't want to repeat going there to eat. Okay, so there's something we call the job specification. Job specification simply means a document that contains information about this is the skill you're supposed to have, or the competency you're supposed to have, and this is the quality, okay, that is needed for such a place. So if I say the job description for a trainer, Number one, the job description for a trainer is the person must be able to communicate, the person must be able to understand, the person must be able to interact. So the job description specification is talking about the personal quality. This person must be this height, the skill and the formal education or whatsoever the person need to have. Then the job description is now talking about the duty and responsibility and the task the person is supposed to be doing in that workplace. Okay, there is also content. Who are you going to report to? What is the working relationship in the organization? What are the things acceptable? What are the things not acceptable? What are the working conditions? Okay, so these are all the things that are included, okay, in the job description in an organization. Okay, so also the hierarchical status, the equipment and the materials, all the information of the specific culture, these are the things that are to be included in the job description. So looking at job description and job specification in simple terms, the job description talks about the title, talks about the department the person is, what is his scope. I'm in a training. You people are disturbing. I'm in a training, you're disturbing me. What is the scope and what is the main duty and the responsibility that that staff supposed to have? Then when you talk about the job specification, it's talking about the title of the person, what is the sex, okay, is it male or female that is needed for that role, what is the age, what is the qualification, okay, what are the technical skill set the person must have, then what kind of experience do we want the person to have, what are the qualities and the conditions of employment. Okay, so these are the job description and the job specification. Okay, so we're going to take these roles. We have different roles that we mentioned earlier on. These are the roles, okay, we mentioned earlier on that you see in the organogram of a food and beverage organization. Okay, so now we are going to take the role one by one. So the first we need to take is the food and beverage. What is his duty and responsibility? Number one, okay, he must maintain efficient catering service within the hotel. Okay, he must ensure that everything is efficient. The food, these beverages are served on time. The quality is up to standard. The taste is up to standard. The environment is in order. So he is to maintain efficiency. Okay, and also he's also responsible to ensure that whatever we are giving, whatever you are given as a place, is in line with what has been marketed and the policies. Okay, so now let's say we marketed so menu. He must ensure that when people come and order for that menu, they will receive exactly what was marketed. They will not receive something that is not what was marketed. Okay. Then the next thing he's to do is to ensure that there's effective control of raw material. The raw material are the things that are used to prepare the food and the beverages. Then the labor, who are those that are working? Okay, are they doing what is expected? Are they in the right state? You know that in food and beverage industry, one critical thing is this, that you must be careful about food poisoning, because if you use a wrong, if you use maybe an unhealthy stuff, okay, like now we are having the pandemic, the coronavirus. I'm just imagining there is an unhealthy stuff that has coronavirus, then that stuff will now touch maybe bread or touch water, and the virus will enter there, or you touch a plate that he used to serve with his hand that has the virus. You now touch that plate and use it to serve somebody, then the person put it in their mouth and the person got out the virus. Then they do a study and they find out that, oh, that this virus, most of the people that visited Mr. A restaurant, they came down with coronavirus. What do you think will happen? That business will die immediately. Okay. So he must ensure that there's effective control of the level. Then the equipment, okay, the equipment cost and the equipment thing. Then the next thing is to do is he has to cooperate with the head of department. Okay, now you know there are different departments. There is cooking department, there is serving department, there is cleaning department, and all the other departments. So it's the responsibility of the food and beverage manager to cooperate with the head of the department in producing the budget. Okay, then he also should ensure that the revenue is achieved. We produce a budget, okay, we need 30,000, we need 50,000, we need 200,000 to run the hotel, okay, or to run the restaurant in mode A. So he must also be responsible to ensure that revenue, if the business put 200,000, then there should be something profitable that will come out of it, okay? So it should show that all the outlets, okay, are profitable. Then again, there's a standard that agreed, okay, by the food and beverage policies, policy organization. We must ensure that. Then again, you should be responsible to ensure that there's a regular staff meeting with departmental head and with food and beverage department people to interact, okay, to discuss, okay, this is how we are doing, where performance are reviewed, oh, we are doing well as an organization, oh, this is what we need to do, these are what our competition is doing, we need to be fast, we need to be smart, okay, there's this new menu that has come into town, people love this kind of food, what are we going to do about it? So he should be responsible for coordinating such a meeting. Then again, I mentioned this earlier on, the hygiene and safety, he must be responsible, he's responsible for that. Then maintains efficient catering service within a hotel or market previously identified. So these are some of his responsibility. Again, he maintained effective control. So if you look at his role, you will see that he's like the general manager. His eyes is everywhere. Okay, so he has to maintain effective control of raw material, labor, equipment use. Okay, he has to ensure that everything is profitable. He has to ensure the hygiene, as you mentioned again. He has to ensure every to be updated. He needs to cooperate with personnel department in recruiting, okay, and training of new personnel. So there may be need sometimes. The business is expanding, so we need new personnel. Okay, maybe we have one kind of new menu we want to introduce, and there is nobody in the organization that have that skill set. So he is responsible for that to ensure that the right personnel are recruited. Not only recruited, they are trained. What are they trained with? They are trained with menu, they are trained with the culture of the organization, they are trained with do's and don'ts, they are trained with customer relationship, skill set, and all those things. So he must be responsible, he's responsible for that. Again, he's also responsible in consultation with the chef. The chef is the person that cooks, okay, the person that is in charge of cooking. Okay, so consultation with the chef based on the availability of the ingredients. What are the ingredients that we have? What's the prevailing trends? What are the necessary new menus we need to get? And okay, the wine, are there new wines? Okay, are there new tests in wines? Oh, we are having this kind of spice, this new spice that was introduced in this wine or in South Africa. Okay, people love this spice. Okay, so those are the things. Also, he's also responsible for the ordering of stocks. So these are the responsibilities of the food and beverage manager, a food and beverage place. So then the next role we do is the or her work is to assist the food and the beverage manager, okay, in running the department. So he has to be more involved in the actual day-to-day operation. So the food and beverage manager may act more on the strategic. He may not always be there to be looking around if everybody is doing what they ought to do. Okay, but the assistant food and beverage manager can be on the ground and looking around. Oh, Bayo is doing what he's supposed to do. Abubakar is doing what he's supposed to do. Oh, that is doing what he's supposed to do. Kechi is doing what she is supposed to do. Okay, or Daniel, or whoever. So is their assistant food and beverage that is responsible for that. Okay. Then again, is also responsible for assisting section heads during busy periods. Okay. Is also responsible for taking charge of an outlet when an outlet manager is on leave. Or there's a time, for branch. Some of these companies have branches in different places. Okay, let's take an example. Kentucky Fried Chicken have different branches. Okay, and so there may be time that a brand manager is not available. So what happens is the assistant food and beverage manager can go and stand in that place. Okay, so it's also responsible for setting duty schedules of outlet manager. So outlet manager, there are duty schedules. You need to do this, you need to do that. So it's responsible for drawing out the itinerary. Okay, then it's also responsible for running the department independently in the absence of food and beverage manager. So that means when the food and beverage manager is not on ground, the assistant food and beverage manager takes over. So let's look at another role, the restaurant manager. Okay, what is the role of the restaurant manager? Okay, so it's either the coffee shop manager or the brand manager or special restaurant manager. So it depends on which when we talk of a restaurant, you can have a coffee shop restaurant, you can have a bar like restaurant, you can have a specialty restaurant. A specialty restaurant, as we mentioned before, is like a restaurant that they may just be serving a special type of food, they may just be serving Chinese food, or they may just be serving African food. Okay, so it's responsible for that. Then what is his work or her work? Okay, so the organogram, the restaurant manager reports directly to the food and beverage manager and has the responsibility for what? Organizing, administrating of a particular outlet. So let's say Tasty Fried Chicken, they have a branch in Ikotu, or a branch in Dawaki, or a branch in Damatru. Okay, so that restaurant manager is the one responsible for the overall management of that Damatru branch. Okay, so he's the one responsible for the overall management of the Damatru branch. Then he's also responsible for setting and monitoring the standard of services in the outlet. The standard of services in the outlet, is it up to what is required? Okay. Then it's responsible for administrative duties, such as what? Setting duty charts. So you need to draw a chart. Okay. Okay, who is doing that? What is doing that? Okay, the grant leaves and monitoring of staff position. Okay, then they will recommend staff promotion. Oh, this guy has been doing well, that guy has been doing well. He needs to be promoted to the next level. Okay, so he's also responsible for what? Handling issues relating to discipline. Oh, this guy or that lady has not been doing well. They need to be disciplined, or they need to be disciplined. What type of discipline do we need to issue on this kind of attitude? Maybe what the person did. Okay, the person came late. Oh, for coming late, the kind of discipline we need to discipline the person is that because he came late, he's not going to receive that day's salary. So it's the responsibility of the restaurant manager to manage that. Again, he's responsible for training the staff by conducting a daily briefing in the outlet. Okay, so every day he briefed the outlet. Okay, this is what we need to do, this is where we need to do, this is what we need to do. Also, he plays a vital role in public relationship. Okay, that means if there are people that need to be visited, people from outside that are visiting the organization, he's also responsible for public relationship. Guests are coming to the organization to have a meeting, or they are coming for a business, or there are complaints, or there are issues here and there. So he or her is responsible for that. Again, he or her is responsible for planning food festival to increase the revenue of the outlet, along with the chef and the food and beverage manager. So they can plan festival. They can say, oh, we're having African food festival. They can say, okay, we are having a red wine festival. Okay, in some states, in some countries, there are festivals that come up here and there. So he or her are responsible for that. So we talk about the room service, okay, manager. Now, what's room service? Okay, room service simply means when you go to hotels, you may not want to go to eat your food or take your wine or take your snacks. You may not want to just go where everybody is. Okay, you don't want to go to the general restaurant. You want it to be served directly to your room. You want them to bring it to your room. Okay, so that's what we call room service. So in every hotel, in every restaurant that have lodging places, room service is mainly for places where you have lodging places. So the common restaurant that is, by the way, by the street may not necessarily have that. Okay, but where you have lodging places, where people need to lodge, people need to sleep over the night, and you have those things. So this room and service manager reports directly to who? The food and beverage manager, and is responsible for room service outlet. Take note. The room service manager checks that the service rendered to the guests is up to standard set by the hotel. Every hotel, every restaurant should have a standard. Okay, so he or her should be responsible to ensure that, oh, we are meeting to the standard. The plates are up to the standard, the cutleries are up to the standard, the way the food is folded is up to the standard. Okay, so he's also in charge of what? Monitoring or operational aspect of the outlets, such as what service, are we serving our clients well? The bill, are we giving the right billing? The duty charge, the leave, the absenteeism, in addition to attending to guest complaints regarding to food and services. So he's responsible for this. The other thing he or she does is that he's in charge of sales and expenditure budget. So when it comes to food and beverage, okay, he or she is in charge of what? Expenditure budget. Okay. Then he's also responsible for the service in the outlets. He's also responsible to ensure that there's coordination, okay, among what, this one is very important. There are times you go to a hotel and you make an order. Okay, so you make an order for food. You say, okay, I need this food. They say, do you want to? You ask them. I've had that experience many times. How soon can this food be ready? They say 20 minutes. And in the next 30 minutes, in the next 1 hour, the food is not there. So what's going to happen? There's great likelihood that such client will be dissatisfied. Okay, so the food and the beverage, the room service manager should be responsible, okay, to ensure that service orders taken, the captain and the waiter, okay, the captain and the waiter takes the order and ensure that they are delivered on time. Okay. Again, it's necessary for the room service manager to be present in the outlet. He should be there during peak hours. Peak hours are when orders are highest. Okay, orders are highest mainly night from 6 p.m. People have retired to their hotel. People are back from whatever program they went for, whatever project they went for. So from that time, okay, orders are at the peak. Okay, so it's important that the food and the beverage manager should be around at that time. Again, their time hotel offer valet service. The room service manager take charge of that service. So let's look at the responsibility of the bar manager. So that the bar manager is responsible for all functions of the bar. The bar is where you have the drinks and cigarettes and other things. They're mainly at the bar. Okay. So the bar manager is in charge of that place. He's in charge of how it functions. He's in charge of how things are dispensed. So what are his responsibility? Staffs. He has to ensure that staffs are recruited. You have to ensure that staffs are trained. You have to ensure that there is a monitoring and performance activity of the bar ad spent, how are they spending. You need to supervise the alcohol services. Okay. Are we serving what we're supposed to serve? The volume of service. Okay. So he needs to be responsible to that. Okay. So he also has to monitor the bottles, how the bottles moving, and also control systems. Okay. So that people will not be pilfering. So that the bartenders will not be drinking the drinking the wine or the beverages there. Okay, so he's also responsible for what? The budgeting and the dispensing. Okay, so he's also responsible to ensure that the right equipment are purchased. Okay, and he has to responsible that stocks are kept, reports are kept, guests complain. If there are complaints from guests, you also have to be responsible for that. So what's the job description of a banquet manager? So we are done with the bar manager. We are looking at the banquet manager. We mentioned the last week that the banquet, we talk about, these banquet services is one of the most lucrative aspects of food and beverage businesses. So the banquet manager, his duty and responsibility is to ensure that there's appropriate functioning of the outlet. Okay, so he must be he must be on ground to ensure that things are functioning appropriately. He must ensure that when there are booking from a client, okay, that thing is delivered at the right time. Okay, a client make a booking, he must ensure that they understand the nitty-gritties of all the booking. Okay, and ensure that all the bills are settled on time. Okay, so he looks over the sales assistant. When there are banquets, there are people that are selling. Okay, it's those that are selling that are doing the booking. Okay, there are captains there that are overseeing them. There are waiters there, and so he ensure that everybody is doing what he or her ought to do at the appropriate time. Okay, so he's also responsible for organizing everything. Okay, to the finest detail. He must have an eagle eye over each role, each work that need to be done. Okay. Also, he was in close coordination with the chef. So he was with the chef to ensure, okay, the chef is doing what he or her is supposed to do. The menus are appropriate menus. The deliveries are appropriately. He also responsible for making inventory. Okay, so he makes inventory. Oh, what do we have? Do we have the right equipment? Are we bringing in the right money? And that. So the banquet manager takes care of the overall responsibility of the banquet. Okay, so right now we are going to take questions. Okay, I need questions and comments before we round up. We just have 5 minutes. So please, can we unlock the students so that we take questions and take interactions and feedbacks. Please, coordinator, administrator, can you release the students so that we can take questions? Or before you are giving, okay, good. Okay, so students, can we take questions or feedbacks? In the assignment, the other assignment, as I mentioned earlier on, okay, I'm waiting for questions. Okay, so please ensure you do your assignment, and as I mentioned earlier on, ensure that it's you that do the assignment. Um don't send me what other people wrote. You just forward it to me. Okay. I want to inform you. If you just forward to me what other people wrote, then there's a great likelihood that you will not get any point. Okay. You will not get any mark. Okay. So ensure you research and do your assignment appropriately. Do we have any question or any area you need clarification? Even for our last week classes, if there are things
Good morning, sir. Hello, sir.
I will need to take those questions. Morning. I can hear you. Morning.
Hello.
I can hear you.
Please, can you discuss more on the assignment you
Yes, I
just
can
gave
hear
us?
you.
I said, can you explain more on the assignment you gave us just now?
Okay. So like now, you have seen the role of a banquet manager. Shay?
Yes.
Hello?
Hello, sir, I'm hearing you.
Or okay. So what I mean is now, you went to a hotel, then a banquet
Yes.
manager attended to you.
Yes.
Discuss your experience. Did you think he met his role? Let me give you a very example. You are in a hotel and you call a waiter, a room service, and they tell you the room service will come in the next 20 minutes, and you didn't see your food for the past 1 hour. Do you get it?
Yes.
So you are going to now say, you are going to now discuss the room service manager. Did he do his work? If he did his work, he did it well. Or if he didn't do his work, I think this is where I think he's lacking. These are the skill set. Are you getting it?
Yes. But do we need to go to an hotel
So
before we can do this? Hello, sir.
have you not gone to a restaurant? Have you not gone to a restaurant before?
Okay, sir.
Food and beverage services. I didn't say hotel. I say food and beverage organogram. So it mustn't be necessary hotel. It can be a restaurant. It can be a bar. It can be. Do you get it?
Yes. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. Any other question? Any other question? Okay. So I think our time is up now. Just ensure you do the assignment and do the best. Keep safe. God bless you. You have my email. Let me type my email again for those that will need it for the assignment. My email address is, I'm typing it on the chat. So that's my email address. Okay.
Sorry, I can't
So
see it.
ensure you send me check the chat. Check the chat. Have you seen the chat?
It's only the assignment that's showing.
You are not seeing the chat. What on the system you are using? Are you not seeing the chat? There's a chat point.
No.
No, check well. On the system you are using, there's a chat point. Are you using phone or are you using
I'm using
or laptop?
phone.
Check. There's a place for chat. Okay. There's a place for chat. Look at the web stuff. There's a place for chat.
Sorry, I'm using phone.
Look where you see a place for chat. Last week, did you send the assignment last week?
I'm not sure it is. I didn't get the real information concerning that organogram.
So it's still the same. Email address you use. Okay.
Okay, sir.
innocent.economy@gmail.com. Okay. Yeah. Any other question? So I think our time is up. So all the best, everybody.
Ma? Dad. No, mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ ìgbà tí wọ́n ní ká sọ experience wa in case tá a bá lọ sí restaurant bóyá a sọ pé a need oúnjẹ báyìí báyìí báyìí. Wọ́n á ní pé within 30 minutes it will be ready. Pé tí ò bá wá ready is the person performing his duty and why. And I will write about my experience.
You see this book?
Ó ṣètò ni o.
You cannot say you want to pee and go to toilet. Go and bring rag. Go and bring rag. Only lọ sí restaurant.
No, pé kò ní ìkàlẹ̀ pé sì ṣe pé a ti lọ síbẹ̀ rí. Then tó bá yẹ pa ti nílò experience rẹ̀ rí. So a máa wá sọ tó bá yẹ pé ẹnìyẹn perform duty ẹ̀ not.
Okay. Ó ń bọ̀ ó tọ̀ sínú bíbá ìwé Sarah. Leave them. Láti ọ̀gbọ́n mi dáná ó tọ̀ sínú tí ẹ̀ lọ.
Don't call me then. Let me go and make food for us.
Wà ní outside lọ.
Àwọn èèyàn méjì ló rọ̀ sí jẹ́ It's alright. Let them carry now. We're going to jump on the water.